Soon, India's G20 presidency will come to an end. One entire year was quite eventful and showcased the best of country's abilities and its diversity. As the top world leaders prepare to attend the grand finale of this historic event, economists believe the moment of India has arrived. Welcome to The Matrix. A highly successful culmination of G20 presidency will be a milestone for India. It shows India's potential of taking up big responsibilities and having the capability of becoming the world leader. Renowned British columnist Hamish McRae has predicted a very bright future for India by 2050. He says, India is as important to the world as China. By 2050, India will be among top 3 economies of the world, which will be larger than the European Union. But the path to 2050 will be strewn with challenges. Today, I have with me Dr. Uday Bhanu Singh, who is an expert in international affairs, and he was formerly with MPIDSA. Welcome to our studios, Dr. Bhanu. Let's start with discussing the G20 presidency. For a common man, there is not immediate takeaway from this event. But could you tell us how this event is going to help India in image building and in the long run?
I think the exclusiveness, what is special about this G20 summit is that for the first time we are involving not only all the metropolitan cities, we are involving all the other lesser known cities of India. It is approaching the common man, where the common people are made to feel involved. It is not a showcase event which is meant only for the politicians or for the main people. It is the common man who is being involved in the process of the G20. And this is something unique. I think by involving the women of India, by involving the people of India, the common man, we are setting a new kind of trend, and that will be watched by the rest of the world also. And that is something which is, as a popular democracy, I think we are setting a good example to the rest of the world.
Right. So now apparently Putin is not attending, and there's no clarity on Xi Jinping's plan also. Will it impact this event in some way?
I think there were naturally some doubts about some leaders not being able to make it to the summit. And the fact that the other leaders are coming here, including the President of the United States, and we will see the Prime Minister of Singapore also here. These a large gathering of leaders will definitely raise India's profile in the international arena. I think by inviting these people and the acceptance, there is a general acceptance of recognition of India's stature in the world community. I think this has begun to happen at the other forum. India has been constantly engaged with the United Nations. We are part of the quadrilateral meetings. We are part of, we have a certain approach to the Indo-Pacific. Our Indo-Pacific policy is there. And as the Western world is trying to bring an approach to deal with a Sino-centric world, India provides an answer to many of the problems that the world is facing today. And the world is looking to India for that.
Sure. So the G20 events are happening at a time when the balance of world power is tilting towards global south. India is hosting this event at such a time. Does this give us an edge over our neighbors?
I think India has faced a number of challenges in the recent past, whether it was the dealing with the post-pandemic scenario downturn, whether it was dealing with the global supply chains crisis, the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war. These are some of the problems that the entire world is dealing with. And India, by its own example, has set a trend, whether it meant providing vaccines to the world, providing help during a very crucial period in human history to its neighbors and to others who could not afford those vaccines. We set an example. We have also set an example in terms of the progress that we have made as Digital India. We have our economy is being looked up to as an example. And from that perspective, we are in a way the right country to deal with the problems of the global south. And as the leader of the global south, the countries in Asia and Africa are looking up to India to provide a sense of direction through this maze of problems that India and the world is confronted with today.
Dr. Bhanu, how can India build a stronger perception on the basis of the takeaways of the G20 presidency?
Well, we have already come to a stage where India's stature is being recognized and is being accepted by the developed countries of the world also. We are the fifth largest economy of the world, targeted to become third largest economy soon enough. And whether it is with regard to technology, whether it is regard to trade, we are gaining the world attention. And also in terms of dealing with natural disasters, the problem in Turkey, we were the first responder. The problem of typhoons, cyclones in Myanmar or Indonesia, we were our Navy was among the first responders to those crises. And Indian diaspora, whether it is in United States or in England, we are the global talent is very well recognized by all these countries. And then we have, of course, technologically shown our mettle by landing the Chandrayaan on the moon.
Right.
And these are some of the examples which have led the world to have some kind of faith and recognition of India's leadership in these areas.
Yes, and Dr. Bhanu, what are other thoughts you have on the takeaways from G20? Could you share some more, of your views on this?
As I was mentioning, we are witnessing in the recent past. We witnessed a number of crises. India has been able to deal with those crises. Now the problem that the world faces is how to bring the north and south viewpoints together. How to bridge the divide between the east and the west. India is that bridge which can bridge the gap, the division between the north and the south, the division between the east and the west. We are seen to be a very free and fair player, and both the countries of the north and the south are willing to accept India's leadership in that matter. And we also want some changes in the global governance status quo. There are changes that are required in the way the WTO is functioning. It has gone into hibernation for some time. We need changes in the economic governance models. And the countries of Africa, the countries of Asia want that change, and the unipolar kind of approach of United States is no longer acceptable. And that is where India's role comes into play. And I think we are very well suited to play that role. And we have seen Prime Minister Modi at the BRICS Summit and the role that he played there, and the importance and the significance that India has been showing in those forums. I think that is becoming recognized by the rest of the world. And we also see that the Sino-centric approach, where China is asserting its, flexing its muscles in the South China Sea, the countries of ASEAN who are directly affected by the aggressive approach, assertion of China in these seas, they look to India for some kind of support and in these matters. And therefore, we can play an important role in guiding the world in moving to a more peaceful and stable world.
Dr. Bhanu, thank you for being in our studios and sharing your views. Even international experts are saying India's elevation to becoming a world leader is inevitable. However, there are challenges on the way, such as need for improving infrastructure, tackling regional security concerns, reducing friction within the communities, creation of better educational facilities and job opportunities, improving healthcare, tackling climate change, water consumption, making provisions for food production in the future. If we wish to fulfill our dreams of becoming a world leader, we need to work on these challenges. With our civilizational concepts like one world, one family, one future, India can be a binding force for the entire world. That's all we have for this week. We'll be back soon. Till then, goodbye from the Matrix team.